who is the author, and he's also the illustrator. He has talking bubbles for Elephant and Piggy. What color are the talking bubbles for Elephant? I heard some grays. Okay, and then when Piggy talks, what color? Ah, I heard some pinks. Good job. And then when they talk together, oh my goodness, it's kind of a mauve color. It's like if you took gray and pink and put it together. So now when I read this, I have a Gerald voice and I have a Piggy voice, and I'm going to try really hard to make sure I can stay in character. All righty. So, Piggy, I have a great idea. Let's go for a drive. Ooh, he has a good idea. That's an inside trait, huh? That sounds like fun. Drive, 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 drivey, drive, drive. Oh boy, they look like they're gonna have a lot of fun. Wait! If we are going to go on a drive, we need a plan. A plan? First, we need a map. I have a map. Get the map. You cannot go for a drive without a map. I have a map. Drive, 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 drivey, drive, drive. Map, 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 mappy, map, map. So excited. Wait! It might be sunny when we go on our drive. We need sunglasses. I have sunglasses. Get those sunglasses. He's kind of bossy, isn't he? Drive, 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 drivey, drive, drive. Sunglasses, 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 sunglasses. Wait! It might rain when we drive. We need umbrellas. I have umbrellas. Get the umbrellas. Make a plan and stick to it. That's what I say. He's kind of smart, isn't he? I have the umbrellas. Drive, 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 drivey, drive, drive. Umbrellas, umbrellas, umbrella, umbrella, umbrellas. Wait, we need bags. I have bags. Get those bags. You cannot go wrong with a good plan. Oof, I have the bags. Drive, 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 drivey, drive, drive, drive. Bags, 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 bags. Wait, there will be a lot of driving on our drive. We need a car. Elephant's looking at Piggy. I said we need a car. Do you have a car? I do not have a car. Oh no! We have everything we need for our drive except a car. Our plans are ruined. Oh, he looks pretty sad, just like in the other book. What are we gonna do now? We could play pirates. Who needs a plan when you got a pig for a pal? Arr. Let me hear your pirate sound. Arr. Arr. All righty, so boys and girls, today we are going to learn how to draw elephant, just like Mo Willems. So you need a piece of paper and you're going to put it the portrait way. This is landscape. That's like, you know, when you're going to draw a picture of the landscape, this is portrait. So we're going to put it this way. All righty. And you can use a pencil or a Sharpie. Now I'm going to use a Sharpie so that you guys can see my picture really well. And you're going to draw each step and then hold it up to the screen so that you can show us your wonderful work. Okay, so elephant, we're going to draw Gerald. Okay, so the first thing you are going to do is draw a U-shaped body. Can everybody do that? And then show me your U-shaped body. Oh, awesome. You guys are so amazing. Okay, so now we need the head. And we're going to draw almost a whole circle around the U shape. And it goes kind of on top. Sort of like two snowmen, right? The body and the head. All righty, now so far I can't tell the difference between Peggy and elephant. So I have to have something that looks like elephant. What do you think I need next? You are so right. I need that trunk. So I am going to start in the middle of the face, and I am going to draw elephant's trunk. He looks just like that. Looks almost like a straw, doesn't it? Coming out of a cup, right? Oh, show me your, oh my gosh, you guys are so amazing. Wow. Okay, so that looks really good. Now, remember, Piggy had really skinny legs and skinny arms that were kind of like a triangle shape. Well, guess what? Gerald the elephant, he's gonna have a little bit different body with his arms and his legs. So first I'm gonna draw his arms. Now his arms kind of come out like two triangles on the side of his body. All righty. They're sort of floppy, right? Now he has really big legs. So I'm gonna draw a line straight down in the middle so I can really find out where the middle of the body is. And then I'm gonna draw his really fat legs, and they connect in the middle with that middle line you drew. That looks like a rectangle, doesn't it? That's pretty cool. All righty, so does he look like an elephant now? He has a nose. Oh my goodness, you guys are so amazing. But let's do his ears. Now his ears come out of the top of his head. Isn't that amazing? And they are big and floppy, just like sort of, what would we call that shape? Kind of ovalish, right?
Elephant
Okay.
ear.
Yeah, all righty. So now I need his eyes. Now his eyes are really little. They're just two little dots. Oh my goodness, can you see my two little dots? They are so little. I can make them just a little tiny bit bigger, but in the book, he has little eyes. And then he wears glasses. So I'm gonna draw two big circles around his little bitty eyes. And then I'm gonna draw a line that connects it in the middle. And last, I have his glasses. Now, what is Gerald missing? Can Gerald talk yet? No, Gerald can't talk. So I'm gonna put a smile on Gerald. And you know what? His smile is a little bit different than Piggy's. His is kind of off to the side of his snout, and it's not quite as big. It's just a little bit smaller. All righty. Oh no, Alexa, stop. My goodness, all of a sudden, she decided she wanted to have the main focus of our meeting today. All righty, so boys and girls, let's everybody share their Gerald pictures. Oh my goodness, you guys are so amazing, so talented. Oh, wow, this is amazing. All righty, so now you are going to take your gray crayon and you are going to color half of Gerald. Now remember how I put this half mark down here? I'm going to draw a line going all the way up. And I want to color half of Gerald's body gray, because that's going to be his outside side. So see how I'm starting to color it? I'm going to leave this one blank, but the other one is...
Teacher?
Yes?
I don't have a gray crayon in my box.
Oh, you know what? That's okay, because you can use your pencil. Did you know that pencils are a lot like the color gray? And so if you use the side of your pencil, you can make it look gray. Oh my goodness. And I'm trying really hard to color pretty fast. Remember, this is going to be sort of sloppy coloring because we're trying to do this fast. We don't have to color every little piece of our elephant, but we want him to have half of him gray and half of him is going to be plain white. All righty? Okay, so now we are going to practice writing 2 words. The first word is outside. Who wants to tell me what the word out starts with? Ow. Oh, good job, Miss Robin. Out. Out. And then it has another word, side. Side. Ooh, now I did all the sounds. I did out and then I went side. Is that right? Wait a minute, I need a bossy E at the end. I need a bossy E, so it says outside because that bossy E makes the I say his name, outside. All righty. And then on the other side of my paper, I'm gonna write inside. And you guys know in, right? Inside. Inside. Ooh, look at that. Outside, inside. All righty, put your thumbs up when you have your outside and your inside. Mr. Dorman, this is not a time that you should be drinking. You should be paying attention. All righty. Okay, so boys and girls, let's take, and we're gonna put 4 lines for outside, and we're going to put 4 lines for inside. 4 lines for outside and 4 lines for inside. Outside, inside. Okay, boys and girls, now what I want you to do, because I want to give you some work time, I'm going to give you 30 seconds because you're the smartest first graders I know. I want you to come up with 1 word for outside and 1 word for inside, okay? So think about, what does he look like on the outside? What is he feeling on the inside? Okay, 30 seconds. Ready, set, go. All righty, ready? Show me your paper. What did you come up with? Oh my goodness, does anybody have the same one I have? I said he was gray. Raise your hand if you said he was gray. Ah, good job, Becky. Good job, Rex. Good job, Paul. Good job, Denise. All righty, how about an inside trait? I said he was happy. Did anybody say he was happy? I said he was caring. Did anybody else say he was caring? Well, I bet you guys have a better word because I talked about it when I was reading. There's 1 word I said Gerald was, and let's see if somebody can get it.
Bossy.
Yes, I heard that. Was that Mr. Paul? Bossy. He is kind of bossy, isn't he? But Piggy puts up with it because she is a good friend. All righty, boys and girls. So this is really important because your next assignment is going to be to write a story. And you are going to have to come up with a character or some characters. And you're going to draw pictures of your characters. You're going to think about what they look like on the outside and what they feel on the inside. And did you know that Mo Willems had a lot of trouble coming up with a character for Gerald? We're going to watch a little video about how Mo Willems came up with his ideas for Piggy and for Gerald. All right, I'm going to share my video, and here we go. This comes from a magazine called Scholastic News, and in Scholastic News we see Mo Willems here, and I'm going to play the video that says all about Piggy and elephant with Mo Willems. I said that backwards, but you get the idea. All righty, here we go.
All About Elephant and Piggy with Mo Willems.
Hi, my name is Mo Willems, and I make books. Elephant and Piggy are the first characters that I purposely designed to be in a series. I knew I was going to make more than one Elephant and Piggy book. And so that meant I had to cast my main characters, like you cast a TV show. Well, Elephant came first. I knew who Elephant was. I had been drawing Elephant Gerald for about a year. Every night when we have dinner, we draw on the dining room table on a piece of paper. And so this elephant had come up. I got a sense of its personality. But I knew that Elephant Gerald alone would not be worth reading, that it wouldn't be exciting. I knew that Elephant Gerald needed a partner. So I held open auditions. I had a giraffe, I had muskrats, I had all these different animals come in to see if they would make a good partner for Elephant Gerald. And man, it was hard. I spent a long time auditioning and I just couldn't find the right character. I think I ended up with like a muskrat with a helmet at one point, but they didn't get along. They weren't best friends. And then one day, Piggy showed up and I knew it immediately and I cast Piggy. And then, only then did I start thinking about writing the stories that Elephant and Piggy would be in. Elephant and Piggy are best friends, and I could show anything in their life. I made 25 books. I could have showed anything. I could have showed them eating breakfast. I could have showed them going to the movies. But what I chose to do in every single book is to show these two best friends almost losing their friendship, miscommunicating, and suddenly realizing, oh man, I goofed, and then finding a way to rebuild their friendship together. So they're not the best friends because they all love the same things. They're not the best friends because they do the same things. They're not the best friends because they're famous. They're the best friends because whenever their friendship is about to fall apart, they do their level best to find a way to build it back together. So my job for 25 books was to make life miserable for them, was to stick them in the worst possible situations so that they almost lost their friends.
Wow, that has a pretty good message, doesn't it? We could probably follow that message being in lockdown. That's pretty cool. All righty, let me see if I can get back to turning off my, there we go. All righty, so boys and girls, you did such a nice job today. I am so excited. And now you know how a real author picks his characters and gets started. So let's see you guys get started. And I can't wait for our next Zoom meeting when you bring your character and share who your character is going to be in the story you write. All righty, have a great day and I'll see you tomorrow. And that's our Zoom meeting, and that's what it's like. So that was an actual lesson that I taught first graders, and so you get a chance to see how it all comes together. Now, normally in a Zoom meeting, I would have between 12 and 13 of my 25 kids. And so because that lesson would have been lost for all those kids who couldn't come to the Zoom meeting, I also post the lesson on Seesaw, and so kids have a chance to do it. So here is an example of a little boy who we had the characters. They could pick from either Piggy or they could pick Gerald, and they could then put little text boxes in here and do the describing of the characters. So even though they didn't get to come to the Zoom meeting and didn't get to learn how to draw Gerald, they had Gerald, and they could participate too by putting their labels, and the books were on YouTube so they could read the books. So it's nice when you have that connection with the friends and they can all, you know, share out what they got. But for those kids who couldn't come to the Zoom meeting, that's how we handle that. So they all get exposure to the same lesson somehow. So there we go. Any questions? Thanks, Robin.
So Jane, when you have your lessons, is it typical that only about half the class shows up, or is it more?
Yeah,
or less?
right. For my group now, for our dual immersion group, they had so many kids that they had to divide it up, and so they did half the kids in the morning and half the kids in the afternoon, and that was so that they could give all the kids a chance to talk and share. With my group, I had a lot of kids who were in daycare or at a home during the day where they didn't have access, or we had some families that just did not feel comfortable with having their kid on Zoom. They didn't want to have the background of their house showing. They didn't want to, they just didn't feel comfortable. So whatever we did on Zoom, I then duplicated it and gave it out as a lesson. So kids who couldn't come could still have access to the lesson. I'm hoping that if we do this more in the fall, that we can organize it a little bit better so that we can have more kids on Zoom. One of the things I had thought about was to do an evening Zoom meeting for kids whose families worked and they didn't have a chance to come except for in the evening, but that just never, I still didn't get the participation. So we just settled for it in the day. Carol.
So Jane, talk to me about how, because these kids you worked with, you knew.
Yes.
You've known them for the whole year.
Mm-hmm.
But now you're going to go into a whole new class. And that first couple of weeks, that first month is so important, especially with first graders. But for all of our kids and all of our teachers, that's the bonding time.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you anticipate doing that, especially, there's two things there. One is you'll have the kids online, and then you have the kids who aren't online.
Yeah. Well, Portland Public Schools, if we follow what they are planning on doing, the first 2 weeks of school will be just routines and establishing this is what school's going to look like. This is how you access. This is how you get on Zoom. And there may be home visits where we can go and work with the families outside on their patio or whatever and do one-on-one, or we may be able to have them come into the building and do a one-on-one just to kind of get to know the kids better, so that for those first 2 weeks of school, you would be teaching those routines, but the routines will look very different because they'll be online, but showing the kids how to do it. Now I'll be teaching first grade, so my kindergartners have had a few months of the online learning, so they'll have some tools in their toolbox, but just getting to know them, that's going to be important, and holding individual Zoom meetings or going to their house and doing home visits is probably the way it's going to look. So yep.
So if, let's say that you are a high school teacher.
Yes.
And you have 125 kids.
Right. Again, I don't teach that. I can only I can only give you my music teacher hat. And when I taught music, I had 600 kids and I only saw them twice a week. So I would imagine that there would be a Zoom meeting for each session, and they might meet a certain number of days a week, and they'll share out their learning, and then the assignments will be posted in Google Classroom or whatever the teacher decides to do for posting the learning. So I would imagine that's how it's going to be. It's not a lot different than what they have already been doing. It's just how they push it out that's going to look different.
And my original question was not the process ultimately, but the bonding that is so important to that teacher-student relationship. So when you talk about being able to go to a kid's home, or something like that, that's nearly impossible with 125 kids.
Right. And that's where I think with high schools, again, you've got kids that are and that are more knowledgeable. They can handle their independence of their own learning. There may be small groups in high school. So it may be that, 6 to 10 students would come and meet the teacher and get to know them and that sort of thing. So I anticipate that there's got to be that for the bonding. I think somebody shared last week that one of the schools in Vancouver told teachers that they could move up with their group. And that's, you know, again, that's elementary, so that's going to be a little bit different. But Lynn.
I just wanted to remind everybody before we take more questions is that the idea behind Jayne doing this for us is to give us an example of her experience during this COVID time. There's so many unknowns still out there about what school year is going to look like this next year. And she may have some insight, but she doesn't know. In talking with Jayne, there's lots of options that are being thrown out there. What ends up sticking, we don't know yet. So if you can, we don't want to put her in a predicament where we're asking questions that she can't answer or doesn't have the answer to. So try to keep them along her experience, if you would. Thank you.
Deborah. Oops, you're muted. You have to unmute.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I think that the comment about bonding and all of that is really important as the year goes on. And I worked in China during SARS in a school, and we did this kind of thing in the spring and then open school in the fall. But teachers talked about how traditions of bonding with their students didn't happen, and it affected the entire school year. Mm-hmm. The groups didn't come together because traditionally in September they would go on a trip together and focus on that bonding. And I think that's a really important thing that teachers work really hard on.
Yes. No, the whole, even the book that I read today, that's social emotional learning, you know, picking materials that you would share with at a Zoom meeting that are more social. And, you know, we have kids that will be coming and they know their friends from kindergarten. So there's a group that they already know. I don't know them as much as they know each other. And so we do a lot of fun activities where, you know, we might play I Spy with my little eye, and it's what is somebody wearing, you know? And so getting that bonding that we would do in the classroom, but we would do it more in our Zoom meetings and that social, you know, time. And it's pretty funny. They start bringing their stuffed animals, or they start bringing come to a Zoom meeting in their pajamas or their superhero uniform. And, you know, it just sort of takes over, and it's really fun. So yeah, there's not the physical that we normally would have had, and not the sort of spontaneity of talking to each other, but there is enough. I think that we are very, very concerned about that, and making sure that those kids get bonded with each other. And yeah, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, Miss, yeah, you know who you are. Becky, sorry.
No, I just wanted to say I could see how Mrs. Salisbury would be the teacher that every parent would want their kid to have. But I'm sure there's a lot of heartbroken parents that couldn't get their kids into that class, because that is wonderful. Really, I can see how that is so engaging for them, and all that you put into it. You know how there's that one teacher in every grade that you want your kid to have, and she's definitely, yeah, you can just really see that. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you very much. It's really a lot of fun. Rex.
So I'm assuming, and you know, tell me if this is going on, you're talking with other teachers and finding out things that work and don't work. And tell us about that and how that's working.
Well, I shared a little last week. As a team, our first grade team would get together once or twice a week, and we would plan out the lessons for the week. And we would also kind of do a deep from the week before and talk about what worked and what didn't work, and what technologies are you trying, and that sort of thing. So that every, you know, my energy comes across, you know, probably because that's just who I am. But all of the teachers in my grade level, we're all teaching exactly the same lessons. We might be presenting them a little bit differently, but we're doing exactly the same. So there's always that communication of going back and forth between our teams, and we're required to meet with our teams once or twice a week, plan our lessons together, we post our lessons together, and so there is that kind of communication between everybody. Well, thank you, class. You have been
I have a not a question, but an observation that lesson incorporated so many different things to learn about social interaction, about art, about not just coloring in the lines, but creating and then coloring, about there was English in there, as well as the art, as well as the social. That's the point. It wasn't just one discipline, which can be pretty dry, especially for first graders. So that's really neat that you're able to put so much into one lesson.
Yeah, well, that's basically, read, yes, read. Yeah. No, that's how we have to do it, because you can't get everything in if you don't, you know, take every little moment to, you know, help them with that word out, you know, or whatever. Deborah.
I had never heard of Mo Willems or Piggy and Elephant. And I don't know if the rest of you got this, but Powell sent out something to their membership that if you buy 2 of their books, you get a 3rd one for free this week. Caught my eye because I'd never heard of them. So thank you for introducing us to this artist and author.
Oh, good. Yeah, well, you know, again, that's just, that's the beauty of our curriculum. We're you know, they have us, you know, studying authors. I have never studied Mo Willems as much as I have this year. So, but it was part of our reading curriculum, and so, and then Scholastic just happened to have a whole issue on Mo Willems, and you know, it's cool seeing an author and everything else. So you just kind of tie it all together. But yeah. Well, I hope that you what you get out of it is that that it can work. And you know, I feel there's so much negative of, oh, this last thing, this online learning, it didn't work, but we can make it work, and teachers really do want it to work, and we'd really like to be with our kids, but if we can't, we need to have that positive attitude and look at it with that glass full attitude, and just really, you know, this might be the way it is. And so Dennis Rugg, it could have been an earthquake, and the Red Cross could have had to come to the rescue, and this time it just happened to be the teachers.
There you go. Well done.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate you guys giving me the time. And next week, you'll hear from the district governor. And then the following week, I'll be sharing kind of how I helped parents navigate the whole learning process, so that when a parent comes to you and says, this didn't work, you'll just say, well, go talk to Jayne Salisbury, because it worked. So thanks.
Great, Jayne. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jayne. It was wonderful.
Thanks a lot.